Hey RATBAGGERS, it's Jade with a Core Keeper video today, mixing a whole bunch of stuff going on. PC just had an update 2 days ago, so we're going to talk about some of the fixes you can expect on console in the near future. Some big differences between the PC and console versions and what I'd like to see added, and what are some maybe long-term vague plans that Core Keeper is going to be having add to the game in the coming months. So if you find any of this useful, leave a like, check out the rest of my Core Keeper guides, and let's go. So Core Keeper came out 10 days ago and it's had huge numbers on Steam, and judging by the amount of views, a lot of you guys on Xbox and PlayStation are playing it. We've still got PS4 and the Xbox One and Switch versions to arrive on the 17th of September. I'm hopeful that they may have a bunch of updates rolled into one, as there's been a couple tiny hotfixes as well as a big balance change update that went live on Steam 2 days ago. I didn't cover the patch notes then because I was still on a press version that hadn't been updated, RIP. But this is the kind of stuff you'll expect to hit eventually. Right now on Xbox and PlayStation you should be on version number 1.00. So once that version number changes, which you can check in the settings on your console, hopefully you get the update. Usually games like these will go through a port team that actually did the port. So maybe a couple of weeks, it might end up being a month before we actually get to see the same updates hit console. I'm kind of hoping Fireshine have chosen a port team that can get updates out a bit sooner, but it all depends on certification going through Xbox and PlayStation as well. You'll also notice that there are maybe some things I've spoke about recently as helping out, like being able to remap buttons. That seems to be only a PC thing at the moment. I'm hoping again it does come to console, as it really does help out. There's way too many D-pad buttons that are just kind of similar to the left control pad that can definitely be used to go and swap out and change your armors on the fly and just basically do a lot more. So apologies if I mentioned in any guides that you'll be able to do this. I just assumed that consoles would have the same features. Fingers crossed it will be something they add, but maybe not just in the very next update. Being able to change some of the buttons and give yourself some much needed shortcuts to switch between gear or whatever it is you want, absolutely a must have. So once this patch does go live, I will do another video giving the lowdown, but here it is. Double the lifespan of minions, reduce the mana cost of minions, reduce the time it takes to combine crystal skull shards, reduce the cost of the giant slime, gorm and hive mother summoning idols, reduce the effect of slippery movement, improved boat and vehicle handling. Now the reduced cost of the giant slime, gorm and hive mother, I'm sure that's really to try and temper a little bit people just going to brand new worlds all the time, as it's cheaper to do that than it is to go ahead and buy these. So that's probably a good idea. Fix the bug that caused the entire game world to get loaded when entering a world instead of only loading parts that are nearby to an active player. For large worlds, this fix both improves performance in the moments after the world is loaded and reduces the memory requirements while the world is open. Detecting which circuit elements need to update each tick is now much more efficient and runs on multiple threads if available. This can be a significant performance boost in worlds with a very large circuitry setup. Whole ton of bug fixes. Switching from mouse to gamepad, obviously this is a PC one at the moment, while in the menu no longer leaves the menu with no selected option. Cattle are no longer visually behind the feeding tray when eating. Sledgehammers are now affected by the self-mending alloy skill. Fix some mods making the game unable to start. That's another feature that's only on PC. Steady feet talent now correctly reducing slippery movement. Pets and minions now correctly attack vulnerable Hydra bosses. Removed loot drop delay from destroying single hit objects and enemies. Enemies and objects are now correctly marked as destroyed if they reach 0 health just as they're about to get unloaded, because they are too far from any active player. This was previously caused several issues, including invulnerable enemies or ore boulders flashing on and off after having their resources exhausted. Fixed an issue where worm-like enemies couldn't be hit while their head was inside a wall. Starting a session with crossplay enabled should no longer decrease the audio quality when a Bluetooth headset is in use. Scrolling through the hotbar is now disabled while quick swapping to a torch to avoid unintentionally rearranging items on the hotbar. The glitch waypoints no longer spawn within view of the core. The client now correctly predicts health after damaging walls, which previously could cause a visual glitch where the player was inside the wall for a few frames. Fixed an issue where pets would gain experience from range attacks wasn't working, and an issue where they wouldn't gain experience from a minion attacks. Amoeba bombs no longer cause double explosive effects. Hatching an egg no longer shows the wrong inventory sprite for 1 frame. Leashes no longer go crazy when the player teleports using the rift offhand item or enters a minecart. Dynamite explosions now chain correctly. Dynamite packs no longer drop several times after being destroyed by Gorm. Fix the mannequin position glitch. Stone turrets no longer spawn facing the wall in desert mazes. Entering the game while guest mode is active no longer makes the player immune to damage. Players added as admins no longer have inventory restrictions when Ghost mode is active. Dropped items are no longer attracted to guests while guest mode is active. Connecting with a brand new character to a server with guest mode enabled no longer breaks the intro sequence. Adding missing user connected message translations and trying to recreate the game ID before the backend play thread login successful no longer causes an error. That one again is mostly for PC. Fixing the error when client got disconnected while the player stats window was open, and they've added missing UI when receiving certain network errors. Fix the bug where the connection error pop-up sometimes will not be displayed. Fix the crash when trying to place some invalid objects. The Great Wall no longer reappears in some very old classic worlds. The Tome of the Dead item description no longer incorrectly claims that minions are targetable, and doors now correctly revert to their open-close state if it is misdirected by the client. Fix some issues during LOD moding and compilation. Dedicated servers now accept general text as world seed. They are treated identically to the seed you specify when creating a world in normal game client. This is only for PC with proper server hosts. Updated server readme instructions for creating a world. Game audio now keeps playing if the game window loses focus, except when using a non-borderless full screen display option, and fix several text and translation issues. So as per the FAQs, they aren't planning any crossplay between consoles. It is rather a shame. I have seen it done in so many games over the last few years. Hard ones to really do that with, games like Green Hell and a lot more like No Man's Sky. It does feel a bit short-sighted that actually Fireshine and Pugstorm didn't really try and strive to get this added. Hopefully it might be something they do, but they're pretty adamant again in the FAQs that it's not something they're working on right now. So you will be able to play, or you should be able to play Xbox One with Xbox Series S and X, but no crossplay between Xbox and PlayStation or console and PC, sadly. There will be tons of updates and no paid DLC at the moment. They're going to just be adding post-content launch updates all for free, which is great to hear. The other aspect is you can host your own dedicated servers on PC. You can use some places where you can rent out servers too, but it doesn't look like they've announced any plans for Xbox or PlayStation to be able to have this in the future. I'm kind of hoping they will sign up with someone like Nitrado or other server providers, as it's the only way console players can have dedicated servers at the moment, especially if they're not going to be implementing any kind of crossplay. And when it comes to mods, they're still not really stating whether or not we're going to actually get mods on actual console version of Core Keeper. And yeah, let's talk about mods. So I was quite pleased when I saw Core Keeper and Pugstorm announce they were going to be using the mod.io store to implement mods instead of the Steam Workshop. As traditionally, the only way you can get certain mods available on console was via something like mod.io. If you've played Ark lately, you realise there are other ways like CurseForge now. But if mods are added via Steam Workshop, they're often not able to be put on console, and they have to basically come up with a whole new system. Now, certain games like Dying Light, as you saw, you can get mods on console, basically new maps and stuff, but games like Deep Rock Galactic, not yet, and other games like SnowRun, you can get on console. So it is a bit of a mixed bag. There aren't as many as I thought, and it doesn't guarantee that mods will ever come to console from Core Keeper. We can just only hope that they do get added. At the moment though, the mods are kind of boring. They're quality of life stuff for sure, some of them people can't really live without, and maybe that's what some people only really want. The game's just come to 1.0, it's only just come out on console, there's plenty of content there, Core Keeper's got hundreds of hours of stuff you can do. But yeah, the modding scene isn't that robust just yet. It does seem like a lot of people aren't investing in adding like new creatures or new bosses or anything like that, like you've seen in Terraria. So I'm hoping this will grow in the future. And of course, if they ever announce plans to bring mods to console, then I'll let you guys know. So no crossplay, no mods, boo! But what are they actually adding? The game's director, Frederick, has been answering a ton of tweets over the last week or so since Core Keeper come out with a lot of useful information. So, plans on the horizon, more weapons as you might expect with content updates, maybe plans to have a block swapper so you don't have to keep destroying blocks to then just replace them with something else. And it does look like they are working on stuff like an extra large shovel to dig more than just one block out the ground. And yep, they're looking into getting more pets as well. And they do understand that the Mage and Warlock is a little bit weak sauce at the moment. We did comment and say they've got plans to buff them and also add healing options for Mage, etc. more. This is definitely needed. I spent all of the early access that I was given to Core Keeper pretty much maining Warlock and Mage as much as possible. It's literally the only last 3 bosses of story that I really switched over to being a melee class, because quite frankly it just wasn't doing enough damage being Warlock. It just took too long. Now it might be meant to be a support class for your mage build, but even the mage build is relatively low level when you see the stats of 71 for mage and 52 for warlock. And I really do mean that you can check out a lot of my live streams and any of my videos. I am mainly using a warlock or magic class build. I really did try to just kill every creature with them as much as possible, or at least supporting. So yeah, ended up disappointing to see that my melee massively jumped when I did go ahead and use it for like 10% taking on the final bosses for the story. And ultimately it's meant that magic and warlock are two classes that just aren't really fun enough or interesting enough right now to go ahead and main. If you want to complete the game, if you really want to do it in a good way, then melee or range is going to be the best. It's not saying you can't use magic or actual warlock, but yeah, I'd be really interested to see what kind of buffs they can give it, hopefully in the future. So super light on really in-depth details, but hopefully enough cool little pieces that you would maybe expect will hopefully arrive. Maybe not in the next few weeks, maybe not in the next couple months. I would expect quality of life stuff and some of the issues that you saw on PC being updated coming to console hopefully in the next few weeks. Pugstorm did a really great job during the access. They did release a good amount of content at regular intervals, especially with all the event stuff that you can have as well. So I am confident they'll probably have a content drop before the end of the year at least. And there we go. Hopefully that's caught you up with everything you need to know about development of Core Keeper, what to expect, what not to expect. And like I said, the minute any updates hit Xbox, PlayStation, I'll let you guys know. And I'm definitely going to be doing a little mini review of the Switch version as I'm waiting till the 17th to go ahead and buy my physical copy. So until next time, Ratbags, I'll see you for more Core Keeper guides and live streams. Bye bye.